A little while ago I made a video where I went through and translated some descriptions of Genshin Impact characters through multiple languages. The tool that I used last time was no longer working, so I had to go through and manually translate all of these myself. In terms of the languages we used, of course we started in English, and then we went to Arabic, Bulgarian, Chinese, Dutch, Filipino, German, Greek, Hebrew, Italian, Japanese, Korean, Kurdish, Latin, Malay, Mongolian, Portuguese, Spanish, Swedish, Ukrainian, Vietnamese, Welsh, and then back to English. For each character, I will read the original description and then the translated one. With that out of the way, let's get right into this. Ayato is a person that does not like to show his face in public, often preferring to work on his duties as the Yashiro Commissioner. A well-known fact about him is that he's extremely busy and stressed as he has to deal with corrupt government officials while juggling his duty as the leader of the Shumatsuban. Due to his duties, he dislikes small talk. Ito? I don't know how it got Ito, but alright, Ito wanted to thank Commissioner Yatsushiro and refused to show his face to the public. This is the story of the Eagle Officer of Schmatzvin. He doesn't want to talk much about his work. Mona is an astrologist who takes her passion seriously. She is very knowledgeable in this subject in part and respects yet also fears her master at the same time. She combines her astrology skills with hydromancy, which makes her a well-known, if still growing, astrologist. In part due to her astrology, Mona can tell whether or not a person is lying, can sense their intentions from a single glance, being capable of seeing their fate, and is able to accurately deduce a person's traits just from knowing what their constellation is. Sounds like what most teenage girls think they can do with star signs. Mona is an astrologer who takes her hobby seriously. He does something and sees, but at the same time is afraid of his master. Although he knew the details of his ability to study astronomy with water magnets, he couldn't. Mona, with her knowledge of astrology, understands that if someone tells a lie, she sees with her naked eye what the person's destiny is. They see their destiny. She knows who her planet and the features of the human planet. That was very confusing. She is a calculating and ruthless businesswoman guided by the sole aim of making more, which stems from her impoverished background. She makes use of a large intelligence network and pawns to gain the information she needs and will only make use of people whose weaknesses she knows. As a result, she is disliked by those with significant influence, but nonetheless many accept it as she adds to the overall prosperity of both the Qixing and Liyue Harbor itself. She was a passionate woman who sought warfare and became a teacher. The network uses a variety of information and collateral to get the information you need and only serves people who know your weaknesses. This contributed to the high development of the ports of Sisson and Lu, so it was supported by the masses, not the celebrities. Noel is a polite young woman and professional maid helping those in need without hesitation, regardless of how far they are or what they need done, as long as they say her name. She has a very high standard of work ethic as she always strives to ensure that everyone's needs are satisfied and always makes the effort to go over their expectations. No work is a problem for her. Lisa believes that the more work she's given, the happier she is. Noel is a professional woman. As long as you shout his name, no matter how far he goes, he will not hesitate to help someone in need. It is a strict ethics that always strives to meet every request and always strives to meet your expectations. There is a problem with your work. Lisa believes the more you work, the happier you will be. That one actually didn't get too messed up. Chi-Chi has a quiet yet polite demeanor when dealing with customers at the pharmacy. As a zombie, Chi-Chi has trouble retaining memories and can quickly forget about people if she doesn't continually reinforce herself with an impression of them using her vision to protect those she holds dear. Due to her undead nature, Chi-Chi has a relatively flat voice and is unable to convey most of her emotions to others, nor does she have a particularly strong sense of smell. She prefers cold weather as the heat reminds her of death and her flesh begins to decay if she stays too long in such places. When communicating with pharmacy customers, Teeth must be calm and respectful. As a zombie, Kiki fights to preserve his memory. If you do not maintain the understanding of man and the understanding of his loved ones, he will forget them. The Czech accent is relatively light due to its enduring nature, inability to express love for others, and no odor. He loves the cold, blames the heat of death, and if he stays stays here too long, his food will rot. The Raiden Shogun exists in two forms. A, her true identity, and the Shogun, a puppet created by A to act as the ruler of Inazuma in her stead while she meditates in the plane of Euthymia. This puppet follows a set of directives programmed into her, which are extremely hard to modify even by A herself. The Shogun is cold and stern in personality, even callous at times. She is limited in emotional expression, has no likes and dislikes, and has no need for recreation. There are two types of lightning, the island dog and the average dog, which replace Barrack when he sees the planet. Many software paths are followed by dogs, but it is difficult to turn back. Hard, wild, and sometimes ruthless leader. There is a limit to his love. If he does not love her, there is no need to flirt. That's great. I like that one a lot. Razor is a generally good-natured person who considers his wolf pack his family and becomes enraged if they are hurt by other parties. He loves his wolf family but dislikes the fact that he isn't fully like them, being an infant taken in by the leader of the pack, Andreas. While he barely sees any fellow humans traveling in Wolfendom due to its fearsome reputation, he considers the few humans he does encounter to be his friends and is willing to protect them from danger if it means sacrificing his and his pack's dinner for the night. Razor is also a quick thinker, as he's able to fix Klee's disasters whenever she goes to play in Wolfendom. Razor is generally a good man and believes that wolves take care of his family, become angry about him, and harm others. His family loved the wolf, but they didn't want to be like him because Andrew was the leader of the pack of wolves that adopted the boy. Due to their popularity, men were rarely included in the world of wolves alongside humans. If you open it, be prepared to stand in front of them. Razor also quickly found a reason to fix the dust situation while playing Volunam. Of course, everyone's favorite game, Volunam. Rosaria is a somewhat intimidating woman who has a rather unorthodox idea of piety. Kaya describes her as someone who is honest with herself. She dislikes topics that bore her and having to work overtime. Fischl overheard her cursing out someone in Barbados' name and takes it as a sign of Rosaria's piety, an interpretation Oz doubts. Rosario is a mysterious and beautiful woman with a wonderful spiritual soul. Kaya describes it as safe. I don't like this subject and I work overtime. When the fisherman heard the oath of allegiance to a man named Barbados, he thought it was a sign of a rose. This is what makes Oz skeptical. As the divine priestess of Watatsumi Island, Kokomi handles almost all of the affairs on the island herself. While she is not content with such a burden, having preferred to be a military advisor, she nonetheless takes the mantle to give her people the hope and happiness they deserve. Like Jean, Kokomi easily burns herself out completing her tasks and tries to keep it hidden from others to avoid worrying them. As the owner of Watsumi Island, he occupies almost the entire island of Kokomi. Although she agrees with him and prefers to be a member of the military council, she still seeks to give men hope and happiness. Like Jin, Kokumi is easily distracted by quests and tries to escape obstacles. I was confused the entire time while reading that. Sayu is a seemingly eternally sleep-deprived ninja who uses her skills to hide from work and responsibilities. Her height is something she's deeply unsatisfied with, believing that sleep can replenish all of her energy and help her grow taller. In order to live by this principle and have as much time to nap as possible, she honed her ninjutsu to perfection. I've always been a stay-away and a leverage ninja. He hates his growth because he believes that dreams fill all industries and support growth. If you sleep as much as you can in this schedule, you complete your ninja skills. Originally part of an exorcist clan, Shenhe originally had a happy life as a child until her father attempted to sacrifice her to a malevolent god in order to bring back his wife. While Shenhe managed to defeat the remnants of the god herself, the incident scarred her for life, believing herself to be a cursed child and began growing a homicidal tendency. Despite the Adepti's attempts to contain it, they have only done so by binding her soul with red ropes, which has also caused her to become mostly indifferent. Cinnamon is the son of a bad family. He had a happy childhood from the beginning until his father tried to sacrifice him to an evil god to bring him back. Maki only managed to defeat Genshin, but killed him for the rest of his life by accident and began killing him, believing the girl was dead. Though the Thought Masters tried to stop him, they simply wrapped his soul in a red chain, which did not move. Sucrose loves experimenting and spends most of her time researching bioalchemy, stating that she likes to discover the secrets of life. Her research often yields numerous results that she often labels every unique variable as a result of its own, regardless of how useful said result may be. Why is the original description that confusing to read? Anyways, she spends an immense amount of time researching that she finds herself quickly bored whenever she takes a break. He loves the juicy trials and spends a lot of time off the field. Love the consequences of life. Because search results are often very large, they generate independent variables with no results. It takes a long time and fatigue to breathe easily. Though he appears to be relatively friendly on the surface, Tartaglia is a bloodthirsty warrior. The Abyss and his old master Skirk made him self-confident, solipsistic, and brash, thriving on the sensation of being alive. A warrior at heart, he constantly seeks ways to grow stronger, regardless of how he obtains said power. Tartaglia considers those who wish to become stronger like him to be friends and takes pleasure in battling them on the battlefield. He lusts for combat and grows excited by fighting strong opponents, even if it could mean dying in the process. He uses bows because he is weakest with them, making his victories with them all the more exhilarating. Although Tartarus was a pagan sociologist, he was a bloody warrior. Scott's father and experienced mentor made him feel safe, active, agile, healthy, and alive. Aggressive warriors, no matter how hard they try, always find a way to become stronger. While Tartaglia is at war, she meets people who want to meet friends and play games. When you fight slowly, you want to fight, even if the enemy is desperate. A soft bow should use your bow. This made his victory even more spectacular. That first sentence was definitely my favorite. The son of an Inazuman father and Mondstadt mother, Toma shares the traits seen in both nations' peoples. His father placed a great emphasis on loyalty, while being raised in Mondstadt meant that he could easily mingle with most people. He believes that people should happily enjoy a leisurely life and does not particularly care about his reputation, even if people speak ill of him. He originally went to Inazuma to bring his father dandelion wine, but after falling overboard he ended up in Inazuma with no connections and no Mora. The children of Mondstadt and their parents were ruthless, and Thomas mastered the skills we see in both countries. His father received this honor and grew up in Mondstadt and was a good man for many. He assumes that everyone lives happily and does not hear his glory even when people are talking. At first, Vino goes to the movie Flash to wake his father Mascro, but realizes that the drowning has nothing to do with Flash and his master. Where the heck did it get that from? The traveler's personality is determined primarily by the player themselves through dialogue options. Their personality can range from stoic, humble, and helpful to boastful, lazy, and short-tempered. Regardless of the player's in-game decisions, all of the playable characters view the traveler in a positive light. There are instances of single-speech options or similar options which give a glimpse at their personality overall. They are, for example, observed by Paimon as not believing the gods are any more worthy of unearned respect than mortal inhabitants of Tevat. The role of the navigator is determined by the player himself through the chat function, or herself. His personality is respectful, humble, beautiful, lazy, and cares about hot, deciduous women. Okay then. Regardless of the player's choice of game, visitors see all the characters in a positive light. Examples include specific language parameters or similar variants describing their nature. Paymon's example shows that there are no gods, but those who have died in pain. Wow. Venti has a somewhat recalcitrant, carefree, and playful attitude, as well as a liking to rhyming in his speech. He sees a particular worth in music to the point where he names his lyre, saying every being deserves a name to be called upon and woven into a song. He is also bold, not fearing to insult or ignore those who are supposedly powerful. In the game, he responds to Paimon's comments and nicknaming by parroting her. Venti's character is rude, ruthless, and fast-talking. He plays guitar and sees sees great value in music, nor is he afraid of interrupting or ignoring those who might be brave and courageous. Parrots will appreciate peonies with a good reputation. Zhang Li loves cooking, having learned the art from her father. She does not have a discerning eye towards a specific type of cuisine, seeing that food is a way to expand and experiment. She will use anything for her recipes, even unconventional ingredients that would gross out others. Some of the bizarre ingredients that Zhang Li uses are slimes and lizards. Even if some of the dishes are not to her liking, Zhang Li will not give up and simply press on to modify or start over from scratch. Zhang Li has learned from her father's problems and enjoys eating. Instead of learning about his personal food, he sees it as a way to infect and feel it. They use different things to pay and use strange items to annoy others. Unique ingredients used in Shengru include herbs and spices. There's nothing weird about that. Even if you have no fixed fuel, Zhang Li does not pay for replacement or charging alone. He is immensely grateful to Morax for saving him, dedicating his life to protecting Liyue as payment. He does not take lightly to those who speak ill of the Geo Archon regardless of whoever they are. Despite suffering from constant karmic debt, Zhao is highly resilient towards its alluring corruption, as its fellow Yaksha have either succumbed or died to it. Due to this debt, he prefers being alone and rarely involves himself in mortal affairs. In the few times he does have to, he asks they get to the point for their own sake. Morax is grateful that he saved her, and Leo gave his life as a reward. Joe Alcon's oath should not be taken lightly. Despite suffering from constant karma, Zhao is firmly opposed to his alienation as his partner Yacha is left alone or has died. In this religion, he prefers to be alone and not engage in murders. He asked several times if needed. What? To most people, Xingqiu appears to be a polite young man who takes his studies seriously, but he also has a more mischievous side to him. In the presence of close friends and family, he is gregarious and chatty, but shows more restraint than his elder brother. Unlike his older sibling, who is completely devoted to the guild's success, Xingqiu is more reluctant to do so, putting him at odds with his family. For the most part, Xin Jiang is a well-educated young man who is serious about his studies, but also partly an actor. Among friends and family, he is kind and gentle, but also very sad. Unlike his brother, who fights for the company's success, Xin Jiang hates it and reunites with his family. Xinyan is a fan of rock and roll and returned to Liyue to spread it across the nation. Despite having difficulty in improving its reputation for many reasons, she is not discouraged and continues to play, appreciating all who come to her performances. She does not have any formal training for her music, having learned it herself on the go. As such, she is very supportive of others who show interest, even if they have no experience. Oh boy, this is... how do I pronounce that? Xinyan? I'm gonna go with Xinyan. Xinyan Liu returned to rock and spread across the country. It's difficult to build a reputation, but it's not a shame, and everyone loves playing with an editor. According to the poll, he has no formal music education. As a result, the other participants were inexperienced. Miko has a mysterious demeanor around her whenever she assumes her duties as the Guji of the Grand Narukami Shrine. When she assumes her duties as the boss of the Yae publishing house, she is known to be very kind and enjoys reading books and stories. She's rarely seen without a smile and is more lighthearted than her position as the Guji would suggest. She also believes that others' beliefs can be overly restricting and that it is too difficult to sway them. She has an enigmatic air around her, with her friends growing used to it and those she is acquainted with terrified of, although she admits she does this frequently as she enjoys watching people squirm. When Taisha played the role of Gonji, her daughter made a big sacrifice at Naruto's shrine. When I started publishing, I became famous for reading books and stories. According to Gonji, he was barely smiling and smarter. They are also influenced by the opinions of others. He often does in his songs what he likes as a friend and admits that he likes to deceive people even if he is afraid to acknowledge others. Despite having the blood of an Adeptus in her veins, Yanfei is not particularly concerned about her Adeptal heritage and is one of the few who did not sign a contract with Rex Lapis due to being born in an era of peace. She is very active and often talks a lot, a stark contrast to her father, who Madame Ping knew to be more solemn. She spends her time much like an average human does, and unlike most Adepti, Yanfei doesn't consider herself above mortals in any way. While blood was running through his veins, Zhang Bei paid little attention to his pain, as he was one of the few people who hadn't discussed with Lex Stone since his peaceful birthday. He was the strongest and more talkative man than his father, who weighed more than his wife's hair. She spends a lot of time with ordinary people, and unlike most people, Jane's size is much better than human. What is that supposed to mean? Yoimiya, like the rest of her family, is loved by the people of Inazuma City for the fireworks she creates. Like her father, Yoimiya is devoted to the family business, stating that her customers' happiness is the first priority above all else. This service has amassed a massive and local customer base who are willing to help her out on any problems she has. Like his family, Hindus that day were admired and loved. Like her father, Yumiya is loyal to the family business and protects the interests of her clients. The company has a large loyal customer base and is happy to help with any queries. That's honestly not that much different. Yoonjin is a skilled director, playwright, and singer who is well renowned throughout Liyue for her plays, enjoying this passion, and going to many lengths to ensure that everyone who watches her performances leaves satisfied. While appearing to be refined and graceful in formal occasions, she is also known to be exceptionally friendly in private. She draws inspiration from many sources for her plays. She enjoys a wide variety of special drinks as one of her pastimes, and she can write a play about one if she enjoys it. Jin Yoon is a renowned director, playwright, and singer. He loves this beautiful monkey. Okay, I was gonna say it was going really well up until that point. And everyone who cares about his appearance adores him. It is elegant and sophisticated in a formal yet friendly environment. His work has influenced many sources. One of his favorites is that he enjoys all kinds of drinks and special scripts that he needs to be able to write. Zhang Li is a calm, reserved, and polite man who holds an air for nostalgia. He knows much about Liyue's history and culture, in part due to his time as the Geo Archon. Like Venti, he has many experiences and memories, as he was a god well before the Seven even existed and one of the oldest still living in Tevat. He holds philosophical ideas towards money and has great respect for Liyue's traditions, including those that have been forgotten or warped over time. Zhang Li tends to be humble, being worried he comes off as a bourgeois parasite. And of course, just like in the video where we did the first half of the characters, for the last character in this list, we are going to run it through just about every single language in Google Translate. So now Zhang Li's description is, he's a bastard and a good person, so you might think you like this place. Read about the history and culture of Li Geo Arcan as Silver. He had a wonderful experience, remembering that he spent 7 weeks at the original temple. The Rio Chamber of Commerce does not allow trade, negligence, or harassment. Don't worry, the forests will not take you out of the city. Well, I really don't have much to say to that. Let me know down in the comments which of these was your favorite from the video, and if you didn't see part 1 already, feel free to go check that out as well. Maybe we'll do more stuff with Google Translate and Genshin in the future, who knows? So feel free to subscribe if you want to see potentially more of this, or just more random Genshin crap. Okay, maybe I shouldn't refer to my own content as crap, but too late. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.